How are we doing, everyone? Trade deadline reaction live stream. Giants, in addition to trading Tyler Rogers to the Mets, have officially traded Camilo Doval to the Yankees. And wow, I'm just also seeing we traded Mike Yastrzemski to the Royals. Did not see that till literally just right now. Um, but anyway, Camilo Doval to the Yankees for what was the return? Jesus Rodriguez, Parks Harbor, Tristan Reeling, and DSL pitcher Carlos De La Rosa. Uh, Looking at the return, it's a little lighter than I was hoping. Was hoping obviously for Spencer Jones. That was always going to be kind of a reach. But looking at this list, it looks like just going through their top prospects. Uh, Vreeling is a right-handed pitcher in Double A. He's 24. Um, he's their 19th overall prospect. Their DSL guys not in their top 30. The guy I am kind of intrigued by on this list in this return is looks like Jesus Rodriguez. He's listed as a catcher and third baseman. If he can stick at catcher this year in AAA so far, he's hitting 317 with an 839 OPS, and he has 5 bombs in AAA on the year. So, I mean, if he can stick and you can pair him with Bailey in the majors, like that seems like potentially an underrated piece in the return to me. If he can stick behind the plate. Reading his bio, it looks like the defense behind the dish is pretty rough. So there's a good chance that, but who knows? I mean, he's 23, so it seems like if you can at least shore up the defense a little bit, reduce some of the pass balls. It says he has 6 pass balls, 7 errors, and there were 59 steals against him in 24 games last year. So some people think he could be better at first and left. Hopefully, they can figure out a way to keep him behind the plate because that will really maximize the value there. He has a pretty good hit tool, pretty good power. Um, so we'll see. And the other guy, Parks Harbor, I don't see him on the top 30 list too. So it looks like we got two top 20 guys in the Yankee system, which is not a bad system. But yeah, for what I was hoping for at the beginning of the day and Spencer Jones, I mean, that was obviously probably never going to happen, but you would have liked to have seen at least maybe one top 10 guy come back in this deal for Doval, who still has a lot of team control left. Not compared to Mason Miller, obviously, and that crazy deal the Padres did earlier today with the A's, but still would have liked to have seen something, probably a little more, like just a bigger marquee guy in that return. I haven't seen what the return is for Yaz yet, but that was a deal real like after the deadline passed. Pavlovich tweeted it 1 minute ago. I know deals get announced after the fact, so it's not always, it doesn't have to be by 6 p.m. Eastern, because some of these things they get accepted and then they don't get announced till a little bit after. I am going to pull up the Royals prospect list and see kind of what type of guys we could be looking at in return for Yaz. Again, because he's just a rental type of piece for the Royals. I'm not anticipating a huge return. Maybe one top 15 guy in their system would be a nice return back, because honestly, we could have gotten nothing for Yaz, and that's what I was expecting as we got toward the end of the deadline there. But yeah, I mean, what the Yaz deal does allow is we can see Drew Gilbert, who we got in the Tyler Rogers deal. We can bring him up. We can bring up McCray. Matos can start getting every day at bats. So it allows an opportunity for some of these young guys to play every day, which is important. Like we need to figure out the rest of the season. Is Matos a guy? Is Drew Gilbert ready? Is he going to be able to play, take over that role? I know he was drawing a lot of comparisons to Mike Yastrzemski as kind of a left-handed, strong defensive guy with probably actually better bat-to-ball skills than Yaz had. Similar plate discipline, but if he could be like a strong defensive guy, then I mean we'll see. That's a great pickup for Rogers, in my opinion, who's a rental. I mean, obviously, I think that deal got a lot of praise yesterday. It seemed like the return for Rogers, which is a little bit surprising to me, was a little bit stronger than what I'm seeing so far out of the Doval deal, and surprising only in the sense that Doval has control through 2027. So, I mean, Rogers being a rental, I do think the Mets got a little bit desperate there. But the truth with Rogers is, I mean, he's as reliable as they come. He can pitch pretty much every day and doesn't complain. He is solid in back to backs. He could pitch 4 out of 5 nights and just be a tank out of the bullpen, be someone you can rely upon every single night. So I do get the return being a little bit greater there, but still haven't seen what the return for Yaz is yet. But yeah, I mean, passing. I thought he was explaining what the return was. He just said that the Royals acquire Mike Yastrzemski from the Giants in a deal at the deadline. But yeah, I so far honestly happy with the moves Buster made here. Getting a couple top 15 guys for Rogers was a big move. They had to capitalize on Doval, in my opinion, just with the way the reliever market had kind of shaken out here at the deadline. It was just too good to pass up. And like, I don't think the value on him was ever going to be higher. So they did have to take advantage, in my opinion, while the iron is hot. And yeah, I think we'll see either Gilbert, McRae, or Luciano come up and take some of these at bats that Yaz would otherwise have. And I'm kind of bummed, honestly. It seems like we didn't do anything with Wilmer Flores. Would have liked to have seen him or Dom Smith get moved too if they could have gotten anything for either of those guys, just because I think Bryce could be knocking down the door for some at bats here pretty soon. Obviously, maybe not ready quite yet, but like would have liked to have seen them get at least. No team is going to give up prospects for Wilmer or Dom Smith realistically, but even just like international bonus pool money, something, just anything. Otherwise, it seems like we're probably going to have to DFA one of those guys, but I guess teams aren't willing to give anything or don't really blame them. They're just kind of trash. Yeah, here's a take. Michael Marino, the Camilo Doval trade is the worst of the deadline and is even close. No high-end prospect received for a fantastic relief pitcher under team control until 2028. Yeah, look, the Doval deal is probably the roughest of the three. We haven't seen the return for Yaz, but obviously the Rogers deal was a lot stronger in terms of the return. So until we have some sort of idea what the Yaz return is, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly the whole scope of things. But any questions, keep the comments coming. Would like to see a little bit of engagement here. Looks like the Dodgers also got James Tibbs. That was the other big piece of information right before the end of the deadline in return for Dustin May. Dustin May, who will probably be a big piece in this Red Sox rotation here down the stretch. I believe he's a rental too. Honestly, James Tibbs is a bigger piece than I would say we got back in the Doval trade. So a little bit weird on that one. Hate seeing Tibbs go to the Dodgers just because if he becomes a player, it's going to really kind of sting that that was a guy that we drafted and I think felt really strong about. Obviously, wouldn't change anything about including Tibbs in the trade for Devers, but I mean, obviously the way things have shaken out since the Rafi trade haven't been great, but like don't regret anything about trading for Devers. But need a little bit more, in my opinion, for Doval, and seeing that the Dodgers got Tibbs for Dustin May. Little bit of a nail in the coffin. Just kind of sucks to see, but yeah, let's hope that we got something intriguing in the Yaz trade. And again, I do think this is kind of an underrated pickup with the Yankees to get who was it? Jesus Rodriguez. Again, 23, can play catcher, can play third. He's put up really good stats, actually. It's kind of weird to me that he's ranked so low in their system given the production he's put up. In 2021, he had an 810 OPS. In 2022, had a 1010 OPS. In 2023, 849 OPS. And that was in low A and high, across low A and high A. In 2024, across high A and double A, had an 856 OPS. And yeah, this year across double A and triple A has a 794 OPS. He's hitting 300. Only 5 bombs, not a lot of power there. Maybe there's a little bit more they feel like they can tap into, but it seems like he's probably a guy that'll hit between 10 to 15 bombs a year. But yeah, if he can stick behind the plate and he's a guy you can pair with Bailey, I do think Buster's been looking for a catcher to pair with Bailey, or if he ever kind of feels a need that they need to move on from Bailey, they can do so. And so yeah, this is a really nice, I think, underrated pickup in this deal. Again, he's ranked 25th in the Yankees system, so it's not going to be anything that anyone goes too crazy about, but it looks like he's going to be ready to come up next year. His ETA is listed as 2026. So he's a piece that even I could see coming up this year with the way he's hit in AAA and maybe splitting reps with Bailey down the stretch here. I mean, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be giving him some reps behind the plate, keep Bailey fresh. Seems like a pretty simple, easy pickup, easy move for them to make. Tristan Vreeling is also an interesting piece in this deal. He's according to MLB Pipeline, the grades on his pitches: 50 grade fastball, 50 curveball, 50 slider, and control is a 50 as well. Overall, they have him graded out at a 40. It seems like he's going to be more of a reliever, but he's another guy that is in double A. He's 24. I imagine they'll try moving him through the system pretty quickly and hopefully try and get him Sacramento pretty soon. And he can be a piece down in Sacramento that we can hopefully get ready to come up to the big leagues next year, help replace some of the production that we'll be missing out on with Rogers and Camilo gone. But yeah, look, it's not the most exciting deadline. It never is when you are selling. I mean, you hope to get like a top prospect back, but in this case, I mean, Doval obviously had his flaws. Rogers was an exciting move yesterday in terms of the return, but it never seemed like we were going to get like, I was hoping again for Spencer Jones, and I'm getting clowned on Twitter for it now, so I kind of deserve that, but just me pipe dreaming, obviously not expecting Spencer Jones coming back in that deal. We'll see again what the return for Yaz is. I still haven't actually seen it. If anyone has, feel free to comment what it is, because I haven't seen any tweets about it. Just looking here, trying to figure out what it is we got, but still not seeing anything in terms of the Yaz return. A lot of guys honestly didn't get moved. A little bit surprised the Marlins didn't move Sandy. Uh, a little surprised that Joe Ryan didn't get moved, that Quan didn't get moved, at least that I've seen. Maybe something was announced after the deadline, but it seems like the big winners of the day were the Astros, the Yankees, the Rangers. Um, the Padres obviously went all in, balls to the wall. AJ Preller did an amazing job going all in today. I don't think trading Leo DeVries for Mason Miller was all that smart, but like you can argue if they win a World Series, obviously that doesn't matter, and their bullpen is going to be as nasty as it gets with Morahone and Robert Suarez. So honestly, respect to AJ just going all in. Respect to the Rangers for the moves they made. I mean, they got hot after the All-Star break and took advantage. Would love, honestly, selfishly, to see Bochy get a second ring. I'm going to be rooting for them down the stretch now that we're kind of out of it. But other guys not moved today. Quan, Edward Cabrera, Mitch Keller didn't get moved. That doesn't make sense to me from Pittsburgh's perspective. Don't understand what the White Sox are doing with Luis Robert. Mackenzie Gore thought he was going to get moved. Thought Cease was going to get moved, honestly. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about that, but I guess the Pods just figure they're going to go all in and keep their rotation as strong as they can. Severino didn't get moved. Arenado. So, yeah, it was kind of it was a crazy day, and the Padres were a big reason for that, but it did seem weird that some of these guys didn't get moved that we kind of thought. Oh, wow. Jordan Montgomery to the Brewers. That's kind of a little bit of a buzzer beater move. But yeah, all in all, Giants getting a couple top 25 guys and a couple kind of younger minor pieces out of the Yanks system, 4 players back. Hopefully you get a couple major leaguers out of that. Hopefully Jesus Rodriguez, catcher, is actually kind of the type of guy I've been saying he is on this live stream. I again think someone with his hit tool could stick in the big leagues as long as they figure out things behind the dish with the glove. He's got a 390 OPS this year, or on base percentage this year. Has a OPS over 800 every single year he's been in the majors, except for this year he's at 794. So I really do think that's actually kind of an underrated, interesting pickup, and I do think Buster probably feels pretty good about getting the most out of him. And I think, if there's one guy that Buster knows, if there's one position that Buster knows something about, it's catcher. So if he sees some things he likes with him or some things he can work on, I'm sure there's a lot of areas that he feels like he can address with them, and kind of teaching points that they probably feel like they can work on behind the dish to make him a good enough fielding catcher to where he's not like a Blake Sable behind the plate. I mean, he can actually be like someone that you feel good about being your backup catcher, not letting up pass balls all the time. And if that offensive profile can translate to the majors, which don't really know why it wouldn't, considering he's hit pretty much across every level he's been in the minors, then picking up a 23-year-old catcher that can hit like that is honestly intriguing. And he wasn't like he signed for just $10,000 out of Venezuela in the 2018 international class. So good signing by the Yankees. And from their perspective, they're getting, if Camilo can be Camilo and be 2023 Camilo and be the Camilo that we've seen throughout various points this year, then it's a great pickup for the Yankees. They got Camilo, they got Bednar. Their bullpen is now fortified a lot more than it was, and for the Yankees' point of view, like trading 2 guys that are outside of your top 15 in your prospect rankings, like that's a no-brainer move for a guy like Camilo Doval, who has, like I said, a couple 2.5 years more of team control. But it's an interesting move for the Giants to get to get a couple guys that they obviously feel strong enough to move off of Doval now. I mean, they could have tried to do something this winter or next deadline, but obviously they felt like this was the most they were going to get in terms of a return for him. And I'm sure they've been hearing deals for the whole last week. I mean, as long as this free fall has been going on, that this is the most that Buster felt like he could get. So I can't be too upset about it. If we didn't move Doval, people were going to complain. So it makes sense that they kind of did this now when they could. Um, let's see if it looks like the return for Yaz has now been announced. Um, it was a top 20 prospect in the Royal system, which is pretty insane if true. I'm a little surprised that Yaz was able to fetch that as a rental. Um, I just got texted that. Who actually was the player? Anyone know? Let's see if it's been announced. I think it was announced that the Yaz return. Was it Passing that announced it? Who was it? I just got texted top 20 player for Yaz a win. So shout out Michael J for texting that. But if anyone has a link to who actually announced the Yaz return, let's try and figure out what it is. Let's see. Still haven't seen anything. Oh, Junior Marte. Oh, the same Junior Marte? If it is, that's actually really funny. Oh no. They're number 20 prospect. Okay. Uh the first part of the bio, Marte, not to be confused with the former Phillies and Giants reliever of the same name. So not that Junior Marte. But he is in low A in Colombia. He's only 21. With a pretty good fastball slider changeup combo. It looks like 6'5", big guy, righty that sits in the mid 90s. It looks like so. Interesting piece. Don't hate that at all. Getting a top 20 prospect for Yaz is definitely a win. Uh, don't know what else you were going to get for him. He's a rental that's hitting 230 with 8 bombs. I love Yaz. Going to miss him. He was a great Giant, but I don't know exactly what else you could expect for a guy like Mike Yastrzemski for 2 months. Getting a top 20 prospect for that is a massive win. So good for Buster for getting that value in return. Don't hate that at all. But all in all, a decent deadline for the Giants. Really like the Rodgers trade. Would give that like a 8.5 out of 10. The Doval trade, I would give like a 5 or 6 out of 10, maybe probably 5 out of 10. And the Yaz trade, I would give like a 9 out of 10. Again, getting a top 20 prospect for Yaz as a rental, clearing the path for guys like Drew Gilbert, McRae, Matos to get those at bats. Even Luciano seems like a massive win. So, anyway, thanks for hopping on the live stream. Gonna continue following this coverage, and we'll see if any other late news breaks. I'm pretty sure that's it for the day, but we'll have another show soon. So tune in. Appreciate you guys.